Al Jazeera Podcasts.
Hey YouTube, our guest was having some connection issues today, so we're keeping it audio only for this episode. No video this time. Just pop in your earbuds and enjoy the listen. Today, Palestinian journalists are reporting on their own starvation.
I remember days that it took us like 27 hours without food, 28 hours without food. And it's a daily struggle.
How reporters in Gaza do their jobs even as the Israeli military targets their lives. I'm Manuel Rapalo, and this is The Take.
My name is Hind Khoudary, and I work as the news reporter for Al Jazeera in Marich.
Hind, thank you so much for joining us today on The Take. Can you start by telling us where you are to the degree that you feel comfortable doing so and what you've been reporting on today? I'd also like it if you wouldn't mind telling us what that sound is that we're hearing around you.
This is a drone, and it has been hovering in the sky for the past 5 hours. It's very, very noisy. And this has been the case for the past year and a half or more. It's very stressful. It makes you unable to concentrate. It makes you unable to think, because the minute it gets silent or it leaves or becomes a little bit lower, you know there's going to be an attack. So it's like an internal war you feel towards everything, even a drone and the sound of the drone. I'm currently in Deir el-Balah, and I have been in Deir el-Balah since November 2023, since I evacuated from the Gaza city where I'm originally from. When ceasefire happened, everything opened, and people were able to go back to their houses, I found my house bombed, and there was no way I could live there. And I took the decision to stay in Deir el-Balah because everything about the Gaza city literally hurts my heart. Everything's very destroyed. Every memory I have, my neighborhood, everything's very destroyed. So I chose to settle down in Deir el-Balah. We broadcast from here, Bartolomé and I, and we're the southern, south and middle area team. The last story we reported on is mothers giving their baby borns water other than milk and formula milk, and especially those moms who were unable to breastfeed due to malnutrition and due to the trauma and due to everything, that they are unable to produce milk themselves.
In Gaza's tents, mothers are not choosing how to feed their babies. They're only choosing how to keep them alive.
Milk formula has been not found in the market. And if it was found, it's very, very expensive. And most of the milk formula currently in the market is actually also expired. Every day, we're talking about tens of stories. The 2 minutes we go on air to describe the situation are totally not enough. For the past month, there has been starvation and hunger, literally like kicking every single inch of the Gaza Strip. And when I stand in front of the camera and I'm like, what are the words I need to use? What's the dictionary that is going to express what's going on? You can't find the words. You literally can't find the words. Like, how will I describe a mother's heartache of telling me that she's giving her children water because they're crying, because they're hungry, because she wants them to sleep? A mother told me that she feels, the only comfort she feels is her children going to sleep and falling asleep, because it's the only time they don't ask for food and they're not hungry. So all of these stories every single day literally reflect on us, on reporters, on journalists, on every single person. And we believe that it's a huge responsibility. And we're always feeling that we're not doing enough.
We're talking about a very sad and deteriorating reality here in the Gaza city, where Palestinians are dying every single day due to starvation. Now, if there is going to be any airstrikes, we still don't know. Is there going to be any artillery shelling? We still don't know. What is going to happen in the next hours? We're going to know what...
And I know that every day is different and the security situation is always changing on the ground. How does your sense of safety change from day to day?
Today, I literally woke up on a very loud explosion. I sleep with my aunt and my cousin in the same room because we have a fan on a battery. And I remember it was like 8 a.m. in the morning. And I wake up on this very loud explosion. And I'm like, as if like this explosion was inside the house. And what I did is like, I touched my cousin, I touched my aunt, and they all started jumping to know what was going on. It was literally the mosque in front of the house. And like, we started screaming, everyone started screaming, like, we don't know where this is. We stopped calling everyone's names. Are you okay? Are you fine? Go away, stay away from the windows. So this is how we're starting our days, you know? And like every single second, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to make it. Despite the fact that there's a humanitarian cause for the humanitarian aid, this is all nonsense. The airstrikes continue, artillery shelling continue, the drone continues. Like, it's a wave and a cycle of endless violence, of endless bombing, of endless targets. And when you come and think about it, it's like, when is this going to end?
Can you describe the physical toll of having to report and do your job under these conditions?
Okay, let me start because like I'm a very fancy bougie person. I always started my morning with a latte, with a mug of coffee, with whatever. And for the past 3 months, there's no cooking gas. So you literally go to work with not even a cup of tea, nothing. Okay? So I wake up, I brush my teeth. Sometimes there's no water because there's no water. It's okay. You have to deal with it. You can't do anything about it. It's okay. And then you look at the kitchen and you can't do anything. It's like, it's only a kitchen. Like, you can't make a sandwich. You can't boil water. You can't do anything. And then you can only have like a couple sips of water. And then you go to work, and then it's very hard because we work in a hospital. So you see people injured. You see people with chronic diseases. You see people that come with gunshots. You see people that come from airstrikes. You see people who are mourning and funerals. And you're just looking at this. You're looking at every person. And it has been the exact daily scenario every single day. At the back, there's at least 3 to 4 dead bodies, people crying. In the interns, ambulances putting and transferries. And like, we're a group of journalists in the festival, and we're like, from where should we start? Like, what's the story? And then you realize, oh my God, I didn't drink anything. And then you feel you're dizzy. And then there's a headache. And then you wait for your next live shot. And like, you don't have money to buy anything because there's no liquid money and there's no cash. And then you go back home and you can't do anything because there's no cooking gas. You can't eat. You can't do anything. And I'm like, okay, so that's the case. Amazing. Like, so you're fasting all day, and then you barely manage to have one meal a day, and you have to wait another day to have this meal. And I remember days that it took us like 27 hours without food, 28 hours without food. And it's a daily struggle, but it's not only that. It's the lack of food. It's the scenes you see every day. It's the helplessness you feel.
Hind, you've been sharing stories about the forced starvation of Palestinians in Gaza. This week, Prime Minister Netanyahu says that there is no policy of starvation in Gaza.
Israel is presented as though we are applying a campaign of starvation in Gaza. What a bold-faced lie. There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza.
There's the word famine now being debated, just as the word genocide is being debated. How does that make you feel when you hear words like famine and genocide being debated while you are trying to get the world's attention over what's happening where you are?
It's crazy because, like, what are you waiting from the people of Gaza? Like, when I'm telling you every single day that there are parents literally walking for hours every single day with their iPods, knocking doors on people who still have their houses standing, asking for food, looking for hot meal kitchens open, queuing in lines, looking for any source, looking for any hope. Every single person I know across the Gaza Strip last week. It's not only the people who are poor that don't have food, but also people who work, people who have jobs. We're talking about journalists. We're talking about UN workers. We are talking about international organizations. Everyone, even people who have money, do not have any food to buy or to eat. We're talking about a blockade. We're talking about 2 million people stuck in this area. What are you waiting for them? To die from hunger?
After the break, more with Hind. Hind, journalists in Gaza have been targeted. And on top of this, the Israeli military is now again accusing Al Jazeera Arabic correspondent Anas al-Sharif of being a member of Hamas. This comes after a video went viral where he broke down emotionally while reporting as a woman collapsed behind him while he was live on the air.
As I speak to you, a woman has just collapsed from extreme hunger in front of the Al-Shifa hospital entrance. People are trying to help her. This is exactly what I was talking about. People are collapsing in Gaza streets from sheer starvation.
Can you talk about the challenges that you face trying to do your work, trying to tell these stories, knowing that you have a target on your back as journalists?
Anas al-Sharif is an amazing journalist. He's an amazing journalist. He's an amazing friend. I personally know him, and I met him a couple of times when I go to the Gaza City in the north. Anas has been threatened more than one time. And Anas lost a lot of his friends and a lot of his colleagues, and he's very afraid that he's going to be targeted one day.
I'll add to what you're saying here, Hind. This is from the Committee to Protect Journalists Regional Director Sarí, who said, quote, Israel has killed at least 6 Al Jazeera journalists in Gaza during this war. These latest unfounded accusations represent an effort to manufacture consent to kill al-Sharif, end quote. At this point, Hind, do you feel, I guess, abandoned by the international press somehow, or the international community?
Without us, the journalists on the ground, without us, the Palestinian Gaza-based journalists, none of these agencies would have made one story about Gaza. Without me, without Anas, without Hamza, without Hussam, without Wa'il, without Tariq, without Hani, none. We have been abandoned, we have been neglected, we have been not treated the way any journalist in any other context could have been treated. Till this point, I'm talking about foreign media and the Western media, till this point, they still feel that we're not professional enough to produce stories and report stories from Gaza about Gaza because we're brown, because we're Palestinians, because we're Gazans. Unfortunately, people believe an international journalist or a foreigner journalist more than they believe a Palestinian journalist.
Let's talk about why the world is relying so much on the reporting from Palestinians in Gaza. Israel has barred foreign journalists from entering Gaza independently. Now, according to a BBC journalist, Jeremy Bowen, Israeli authorities wouldn't even let him film from the window of the plane of a Jordanian airplane that was doing an aid drop to show the devastation in northern Gaza.
The Israelis don't want us to film out of the window at the devastation inside Gaza. But I've spent 10 minutes looking at it with my own eyes. And I can tell you that communities in the north of Gaza that I knew well, very vibrant, tens of thousands of people living hard lives, but actually with a remarkable human spirit, are flat.
You were talking about this just now, Hind, but what does it mean that Gaza remains closed to the foreign press? What do you believe is the impact of that fact on how this war is being understood globally?
I would really love international journalists to come because we're very tired. We're very drained. And we can't do this anymore. It's very, very hard. Living it and also reporting on it is very hard. And I dare a non-Palestinian journalist to be able to tolerate the situation, to tolerate the starvation, to tolerate the blockade, the situation, everything we're going through since the beginning of the war. Leaving your house, leaving everything behind, evacuating, starving, not finding food, not finding a place to sleep in, not having internet to report. I'm telling you to report without coffee. Which reporter or journalist can report every single day without a cup of coffee? Who? I dare there is one journalist to do that.
What would you be doing if this war wasn't going on, if the genocide wasn't going on? It's the middle of summer in Gaza. Where would you be? Where would you and your friends be?
I'll be in two places. The first one is at home, in the pool, at home, swimming because it's very hot. And we could be like having Kulthum in the background singing, and like my mom would be like sitting and looking at us. And of course, there's no electricity, so we would like have candles or our phones flashes open. Or we would be on the beach after sunset and spending the time in one of the cafes in Gaza, where it's very busy normally every single summer, where people would go home like at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. because it's very hot and there's no electricity. Gaza is a beautiful place, more than beautiful. And despite the destruction, this is something I always tell my friends and family, is yes, Gaza's destroyed, everything's bombed and everything, but when I look at it, I never see it that way. I always imagine the cafes on the shore. I imagine the buildings standing. Even my house, every time I go and visit it, it's totally collapsed. But I hear my father's laugh echoing. I hear my mother's screaming at us. I remember my brothers fighting or laughing, and the streets and the greengrocer, the supermarket. This is how I see Gaza, and this is how I always imagine it. This is my only coping mechanism right now, because if I would give up for all the destruction I see every time, it's going to kill me from the inside, and it's going to make me very, very depressed. But again, because I feel that I have a very big responsibility, I can't drown in my loneliness and depression right now. It's not the right time. I'm postponing all of my depression season until the war ends. But everyone in Gaza believes like this is just a wave of destruction, and hopefully better days are coming. I'm very optimistic. I don't know why, but maybe this is the only way that is making us staying alive. And it's the only hope we have so far.
What is it like to have to weigh your responsibility as a journalist against your instinct to just stay alive or to flee to safety?
I think that we don't have any other option. That's my answer. It's like, it's a challenge. For me, for example, I chose this path. I chose to stay in Gaza. I chose to report. I refused to leave, and I chose to stay in this place, reporting and reflecting the stories and eating for Gazans in Gaza. That was my mission, and that was my journey. I can't give up in the middle of the way. I can't. I just can't. A lot of people rely on me. A lot of people know what's happening in Gaza through me. I know it's very hard. It's very hard to cope. It's very hard to continue. But I always remind myself, Hind, you chose this. You chose this path. You cannot give up.
And that's The Take. This episode was produced by Tracie Hunte, Kylene, Sonia Bhagat, Diana Ferrero, Sarí el-Khalili, with Phillip Lanos, Spencer Cline, Tamara Khandaker, and Melanie Marich, and me, Manuel Rapalo. It was edited by Kylene Kiang. The Take production team is Bartolomé, Sonia Bhagat, Spencer Cline, Sarí el-Khalili, Diana Ferrero, Tracie Hunte, Tamara Khandaker, Kylene Kiang, Phillip Lanos, Kylene, Melanie Marich, Halima Shah, Khalid Sultan, Amy Walters, and Noor Wazwaz. Our editorial interns are Rimas Al-Hawari, Marya Khan, and Kisaa. I'm your host, Manuel Rapalo. Our engagement producers are Adam Abugad and Vienna Maglio. Aya El-Malayek is lead of audience engagement. Our sound designer is Alex Roldan. Our video editors are Hisham Abu Salah and Mohamed Al-Melham. Alexandra Locke is The Take's executive producer. Ney Alvarez is Al Jazeera's head of audio. We'll be back tomorrow.